Welcome to Get Unstuck with Michele Lefler, the podcast where we embark on a transformative journey through the realms of the mind, spirit, and soul. I'm Michele, your shamanic coach, here to guide you through the untamed wilderness of self-discovery and personal growth. Together, we'll unravel the threads that bind us to the past, release the weight that anchors us in the present, and unfurl the wings of potential that carry us towards a vibrant, purposeful future. Join me as we explore ancient wisdom, mystical practices, and powerful insights to awaken the spirit within and break free from stagnation. Let's take that courageous step together and get unstuck. We're back with season 5 of Get Unstuck with Michele Lefler podcast. I took a few extra weeks off because I had some personal issues, life things, blah blah going on. But anyway, I took a few extra weeks. So season 5 is going to be a few weeks short just to keep us on track. But today I wanted to talk about coaching because I am a shamanic coach. And so I figured what better thing to talk about than coaching? Because you might not know what that is. You might think you know what it is, but not really know what it is. You might want to know more about it. Blase, whatever. So today we're going to talk about coaching. We're going to talk about what it is and what it's not. We're going to talk about what a coach does, what the coachee does. We're going to talk about what happens in a typical coaching session with me because every coach is different. We're going to talk about pretty much anything you would want to know about what it's like to work with me in a coaching setting. So first, let's talk about what coaching is. It is a collaborative process that helps individuals or groups, and generally we're talking here in what a session is like as far as individuals, because my group coaching is slightly different, so I'm not going to talk about that today. But in general, coaching is a collaborative process that supports individuals or groups to achieve their goals by tapping into their potential, improving performance, and enhancing personal development. So that is a standard definition. If you look it up online, you're going to come up with something that's very similar to that. But that doesn't really tell you much. For me, and working with me, coaching is a co-collaborative process. And I emphasize that it is a co-collaborative process because I want you to understand that this is something that we create together. The transformation that you have through working with me as your coach is not something that I tell you what to do and you go out and do it and bam, you've transformed into something else. I don't tell you what to do. I listen to you. You talk, I listen, I ask questions, you talk some more, I listen some more, and it goes on and on and on from there. But we do this together. I'm not a divine being. I'm not a guru. I can't tell you what to do. I can just maybe ask questions, give suggestions, that kind of thing. So it is a co-collaborative process. And it's one of support. You come to me with something that you want to work on, and I support you in finding ways for you to get what you're trying to accomplish. Now, benefits of coaching are that you, as a client, can gain clarity. You might have an idea in your mind, but you don't know how to make it happen. By working with me in coaching, you get a clearer picture of how you can actually take steps to make that thing that you're envisioning happen. Maybe you see the end result that you want, but you don't know all the steps you need to take to get there. Or maybe you can see some of the steps, but you don't necessarily see the roadblocks that may be in your way, or maybe all you see is the roadblocks and you can't see any of the positive ways to get around those roadblocks. So working with me in a coaching environment helps you to gain clarity. It helps you to become more aware of yourself, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, becoming more aware of who you are as an individual. And it will help you to improve problem solving skills and become more accountable. And I know that accountability piece is one thing that I benefit from in working with the coaches that I work with, because yes, as a coach, I also invest in coaching and work with coaches. And the accountability is the aspect that is really beneficial for me, because my coach helps hold me accountable for the things that I say I'm going to do, and I do that as well for my clients. So that's coaching in a nutshell. And I say in a nutshell because that is a very brief overview of coaching. Now, the role of a coach. As I mentioned already, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to give you ideas. A coach, or a successful coach, the best coach that you can work with, whether that's me or someone else, whatever, is somebody who is trained professionally to facilitate the coaching process. Now, in our current society, there are a lot of people who call themselves coaches because they're selling a product, and usually these are MLM type products, and they have this product and their main income is through selling you this product and or getting you to sign up as a coach under them and then sell the products as well. Their whole role as a coach, because that's what they generally tend to call themselves, is about the way they support you in reaching your goals is by selling you a product. That's not a coach. They're not professionally trained. They are salespeople. As a coach, I am never going to tell you that you have to buy a certain product in order to reach your goals. Yes, I have digital products that may help you and support you in reaching your goals, but it does not matter to me one iota if you buy my digital products or not. They're there as tools. They're there if you want them for the support, but you can reach your goals. You can reach what you're trying to accomplish. You can transform without those products. You can transform. You can reach your goals. You can, whatever you're wanting to accomplish can be accomplished without working with me as a coach as well. Working with me as your coach is going to benefit you by, again, giving you clarity, accountability, increased self-awareness, that kind of thing. But you can do it without the help of a coach. And you can do it without any of my digital products, whatever. But as a coach, I am trained in the coaching process in how to listen effectively, how to question effectively, and how to support you energetically throughout the process. And it's not about, in order to work with me, you have to buy a product, whether that be a digital product, a physical product, whatever. And I'm not here to try to sign you up to sell something either. So that is one thing to know about coaching. It is not, real coaching is not trying to sell you something. Real coaching is all about you and not the coach. So as a coach, as a trained professional coach, I know how to listen, to ask powerful questions, and to provide support and guidance to help you unlock your potential. It's not about me telling you what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to do. I'm just here to help you find that. The entire process is completely and 100% confidential unless it's in a group coaching environment, in which case, it's a group, so anyone in the group will know what you're talking about, but outside the group, everything is confidential. But again, I'm not talking about group coaching sessions with this talk today. I'm talking to you about individual one-on-one coaching with me. So what we do is you talk, I listen, I ask questions, I make suggestions, you say yes or no, talking some more, going into it, and everything like that. And it's completely 100% you driven. The session is about you, it's not about me. So what happens in the actual session? We start by setting goals. It kind of depends on if we're having a single session or a series of sessions, but the individual sessions itself kind of follow a same structure, whether it's one-on-one or a one-off session or a series of sessions. So I'll just say that and then go into this. Each individual session, we start by setting a goal for that session, what you want to accomplish in that session. Again, it's about what you want to accomplish, not what I think you should accomplish. I have no preconceived notion of what you should or shouldn't do because it's not about me. I'm just there for support. So we start each session off by understanding where you're at in that moment and where you want to be by the end of the session. We talk about that, and then we start into the actual discussion. We manage expectations. We talk about everything not being a quick fix. Even if we come up with a quick in the moment fix, the expectation is that it's probably something you're going to have to do more than one time and not be one session and you're completely 100% transformed. Even if we're only having one session, the strategies that I suggest and that you agree to generally have to be implemented more than one time to be effective. So there's an element of commitment there. Whether you're committing to multiple sessions with me or you're committing to implementing the practices that we co-create together for you over time, implementing those over time to support change. Change does not happen overnight. Now, the actual session itself generally lasts 60 minutes, 60 to 90, depending on what kind of session you sign up for. I do have some sessions that are longer than that, but for the most part, the majority of sessions are 60 to 90 minutes. And if we're signing up for a series of sessions, they generally happen every other week to once a month, depending on your goals. We set an agenda for each session, again, going back to discussing where you're at in the moment and where you want to be at the end of the session. And again, if this is a series of sessions, we talk about how this individual session fits into the overall plan of where you see yourself by the end of our series of sessions and on into the future. Now, as a coach, one of the things that I do is ask questions. And they can often feel like they're probing questions, but they're very powerful questions designed to support you and to nudge you into transformation. Sometimes those questions can be uncomfortable. If at any time you are uncomfortable and don't want to continue a line of questioning, we do stop the line of questioning because, again, it is about you. But you can go into the coaching process knowing that there are questions and that they can sometimes be uncomfortable. But the questions are designed to help you uncover blocks that you may have, that you may not know that you have. You may be aware that you have blocks, you may not be aware of that, but the questions are designed to help you recognize what blocks you have, where they are, what they're around, so that we can find ways to get you unstuck. The questions are also designed to help you think. Now, one thing about humans is that we tend to think in a linear process. We have thoughts that are in our mind because we're conditioned to have them from the way that we're brought up in our families, in society, that kind of thing. And we tend to stay on that track of thinking unless something changes the way we think. But our brains aren't designed to change the way we think on their own. We have to change our way of thinking because something forces us to. If everybody could change the way they think simply because they want to change the way they think, then this world would be a much different place than what it is. So sometimes the reason we are stuck is because we're stuck in a linear fashion of thinking, and our brain doesn't want to think of any other way, or doesn't want to think in any other way, and we don't necessarily know that there is another way to think. So sometimes the questions that I ask are designed to force your brain to think in another way, which can help to get you unstuck and to uncover blocks and to find ways to help you move forward and to reach your goals. Also, in addition to questioning, I make suggestions for actions to take. I usually ask you what actions you want to take, and we go from there. But sometimes you as the client may not know what action to take, or not be able to decide between a number of possible actions. So as the coach, I may make a suggestion for an action, and you as the client are free to say yes, you want to take that action, or no, you don't want to take that action. Again, I'm not here to tell you what you have to do. So when I come up with an action, it's not you have to do this. It's not saying this is your homework, go do it. I'm merely making a suggestion, and you're free to take me up on that offer or not. But I tend to want to close our session with you having at least one action that you feel comfortable with taking. And if you aren't able to come up with that action yourself, I generally will make one or two suggestions for you to choose from. We also will engage in some reflection at the end of a session. So in addition to leaving the session with an action, we'll also be closing it out with recapping what we discussed, from the goal that you had for that session and the goal that you have as far as how this session fits in with future sessions if you've signed up for future sessions. So there's a lot of listening, there's a lot of talking on your part, listening on my part, questioning on my part, coming up with ideas, which is both of our part, and then recapping the whole session, which again is both of our part in the session. Now, I will also, as your coach, hold you accountable for your actions. So when you come up with something that you want to do, as we're finishing a session and you come up with an action that you want to take, whether it's one that I suggested or one that you came up with on your own or one that we create together, I will in a future session hold you accountable for that. I will ask you, if this is not our first session, or in future sessions, I will ask you, did you do that thing that you said you were going to do? And I'm going to hold you accountable to that, because that's how change happens. You're not working with me as your coach to just listen and make suggestions. You can do that with friends. You can do that with family. You can do that with anybody. You're working with me as your coach for that accountability piece. I'm going to hold you accountable. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, I want to know why. I want to know if it's because it didn't work for you, in which case we can try to find something else. Or were you just lazy and didn't do it, in which case I can find a way to check in with you and hold you accountable. But change doesn't happen through talk alone. Change happens through action. You have to take action, and it can be uncomfortable to take action and create change. Even if we want change, it can be highly uncomfortable to initiate change and to progress through change. If it wasn't difficult, we would all change just because we want to. But there are plenty of people who want to change and never do because it's uncomfortable and they don't want to experience that discomfort that comes along with change. So as your coach, I'm going to hold you accountable for the actions that you say you're going to do in order to initiate the process of change and get you through that process of change. Because what's the point otherwise? And through all of this, through my listening and my questioning and my support and my holding you accountable, we're building a relationship. We have to have a relationship. That's the thing. You can't have a successful coaching experience as a coach or as a coachee if there isn't a relationship there. You have to trust me. I have to trust you. There has to be a rapport between us. We have to have that relationship in order to have open communication and for there to be a safe environment for growth. If you don't trust me, if that relationship isn't there for you to trust me, then you're not going to come to the sessions. Or if you come to the sessions, you're not going to open up and talk to me honestly. Or you're not going to take the action that we agree upon, or a combination thereof. And if that relationship isn't there, then I'm not going to actively listen to you. I'm only going to half-ass listen or pretend that I'm listening. I'm not going to give you real support if there's not a relationship there. And if there's not that relationship, the whole coaching container is going to collapse. So through the process of coaching, we're building that relationship, but that relationship has to already be there in some way for us to even have a coaching container. That's the thing. You're not going to go to a complete stranger for coaching. You're going to work with a coach. If you're going to, it's going to be somebody that you know in some way, whether it be a friend. And there can be some issues with coaching friends or family. I'm not saying that you can't be coached by a friend or family member, or that as a coach you can't work with people who are friends or family members. But there can be some issues around that. So just, if you know those issues and are comfortable with working in that environment, that's fine. But I'm not really here to talk about that today. But you're going to work with someone as your coach who you have some sort of relationship with, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member, whether it be a business owner that you followed online for a while. Maybe you signed up for somebody's free thing and you got on their email list and you've read every email they've ever sent out for 5 years before you decide that you want to pursue a coaching relationship with them. But through that 5 years, you've established a relationship of trust. That person has consistently sent emails to you and put out information for you to learn from, and you have done that. You've established the authority with that person by consuming the content that they put out. But you're not likely to sign up for somebody's freebie today and then join their coaching container tomorrow, and you've never known them before. That's not how this generally works. It can work that way. I've seen it work that way, but it's not how it usually works, because there has to be some sort of relationship there for you to want to open up to that person, because we don't tend to open up and share our deepest, darkest secrets and the things that we really feel are holding us back. We don't tend to open up and share that with people that we don't know. There is that coaching relationship of trust. There's that relationship of respect. And again, it's a collaborative process. It's something that we work on together. And that's why I like to say co-collaborative, which collaborative itself means that we're working together. But I like to put the co in there and to kind of really reinforce that this is something that we're making together, that we're doing together, because I really want you to understand that it's not me telling you what to do. This is something that we do together, and it's highly driven by you. And because it's highly driven by you, every session that we have is tailored to you and what you need, what you want, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a guru, I'm not a divine being. I am a person the same as you. My role is to support you in what you're trying to create. So every session is all about you, and we tailor it to what you need. Now, there may be, I've talked a lot about questions, listening, talking, that kind of thing. Because I am a shamanic coach and I work with energy a lot, there may be some energy in our sessions. I generally like to start every session with a little bit of Reiki for you, the client, but that's completely up to you. If you're not comfortable with that, we don't do it. But I also sometimes incorporate energy practices into the coaching sessions. Now, I do have sessions that are a combination of coaching and energy healing, but I was wanting to talk today mainly about coaching itself. So I just wanted to mention this energy thing simply because I do tend to bring Reiki into every session at the beginning and or end, depending on you, the client, and your comfortability with that. But there may be some other energy things brought in, whether it be suggestions for future things to explore, or whether it be a quick infusion of energy during the session. But again, it's all about you, what you're comfortable with, what you want to do. But I did want to mention the energy work because that's who I am. That's what I do. And it can be completely left out of your session if that's what you want. But generally, there's some kind of energy somewhere in what we're doing. Even if I'm not giving you Reiki or I'm not suggesting certain energetic practices, the act of the container that we create in our coaching session, there is an energetic aspect to it simply because everything I do is infused with energy work. So I just did want to mention that as well. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Coaching is not therapy. I do need to mention that. I can't prescribe anything. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist of any kind. I am a trained life coach, and I can listen to you. I can talk through things with you. I can help you come up with ideas, but I can't treat any issue that you do or don't have. I can't diagnose any issues, physical, mental, emotional, anything like that. So just a caveat there, coaching and therapy are not the same thing. But yeah, that's an overview of coaching. If you didn't know what exactly was involved, or if you thought it was something that it's not, or if you just wanted to know what coaching with me is like, I hope that this has given you an overview of that.